Holy moly, folks, I am so thrilled and so stoked. Why? Because today we get to review the Cobra RAD Driver. This is the Rad Speed, and I am so stoked. Ever since it came out a little bit ago, I've been dying to get my hands on one and to give it a thorough test. Driver is the clubs that I'm in the market for. I'm going to be, right now I have the TaylorMade M5. I'm going to be replacing that here with a driver that I select shortly. I've already reviewed the Ping G425. Well, today it's a Cobra RAD Speed, and I'm on cloud 9. I've been dying to check this out. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you smash that subscribe button, give this video a like, leave a comment if you've already purchased the Rad Speed or if you've been thinking about any of the drivers in the Rad lineup. Today I'm just going to be doing the Rad Speed, though I'm not going to be doing the other Cobra RAD drivers, just the Rad Speed. And let's dive right in. I can't wait to hit this baby. Alrighty, well, before we really dive right in, just a couple of thoughts here. First of all, I've got the Hazardous RDX, the Hazardous Smoke Shaft in here, 6.0. I've got the 9-degree Rad Driver. I've cranked it up to 10, which is going to close this up a little bit, which I think is going to be appropriate for me. But given that I haven't even hit it yet, I am totally guessing. We're going to be talking about looks and design and a few other things in just a second, but I'm just dying to hit one, so let's go ahead and hit one right now. Sure felt good on the first one. Oh my God, that sweet spot feels good, and I even kind of like that sound. It's a little louder than I'm used to. Okay, well, so much for that. 243 carry, 272 total. All right, not bad for a warm-up swing, but I know we can do better. It's a cold day. It's been snowing actually today. And with the other club, because yes, I test more than one in one day, my club head speed has been consistently lower, so could just be the day. But I think we can do a little bit better without swinging out of our shoes. I want to do a game swing, not a driving range swing. That is good, but I said that on the first one. Woohoo. Before I talk about the driver some more, let's actually talk about what I'm used to. With my M5, and you know what, I might hit one here in just a second, just to prove it to you. With my M5, I try and average pretty close to 160 ball speed, 110 club head speed normally, and so my average carry is around 255, total distance 280. Yeah, so let's go ahead and hit one. We're going to do this right now. We're going to hit one with the M5 right now, the old trusty M5, just to see what a baseline number looks like, so you guys can say, lumpy. Yep. Yep. A little high on the face, I think. Let's just make sure. 106 club head speed, 156 ball speed. Oh, sorry, I stalled because I was thinking about bringing the camera over, but I'd have to take it off the tripod and everything. You'll just have to take my word for it. I have no reason, whatever. 106 club head speed, 156 ball speed, 262 carry, to 92 overall. So that's actually slightly better than my average numbers that I normally get with the M5. So let's go back to the Cobra. All right. So in theory, I would hope that with my new driver, first of all, I don't want to be losing distance. And to be honest, folks, I think the way technology's gone, and the fact that I've already reviewed the Ping G425, I should be expecting improvement in distance. There's also dispersion that matters, carry distance, overall distance, dispersion. Those are the three things that matter to me. And so I should be seeing improvement, just folks. Now, before I hit anymore, let's talk about some things I do like. First of all, except for the name, which the name is growing on me, the name Rad Speed, that Rad Driver, that is growing on me. When I first saw it, I thought, oh God, Cobra, what are you doing? But it's growing on me. Now, a lot of companies, Ping notwithstanding and Mizuno notwithstanding, and even Titleist, but a number of the other companies, TaylorMade, Cobra, Callaway, they're getting pretty funky with their color scheme, particularly on the bottom, I think. So this is a little wild. Again, it's growing on me. I think it's cool. When I see it, it jumps out at me. It's like, yeah, that's a Rad. Now on this, you've got the weight, some different weight settings here. You can switch some of these weights to change the profile, the swing profile. Right now I've got the 12-gram weight in the back and the 2-gram weight in the front. Great face, but you know what I really love is that matte black, and this is the same thing that I noticed with the Ping G425, obviously, is that matte black finish. I really like that darker carbon or that matte black finish on drivers. I don't really like the really polished, shiny heads, and there's only doing that. But on the Cobra, it's got that matte black finish. Now, when you're looking at it down left, it looks like a bigger driver. I wouldn't say quite as big as the Ping G425 Max, but it does look big. Kind of comes to more of a point behind. Now, me being a TaylorMade, currently having a TaylorMade driver and being more of a TaylorMade fan, I would say that this club head isn't necessarily my go-to kind of feel in terms of shape, but it's growing on. It's definitely growing on. Designs on the back, they really aren't too distracting at all. So, all right, let's keep going. Cobra RAD Speed has a shaft. Here. If that's not good, it'll do until good gets here. See those numbers. Now, I just said hazardous smoke shaft. In case you're wondering, in my M5, I have a Ventus black shaft. They do not have a Ventus black available for the with the Cobra sleeve on it. So that's why the hazardous smoke today. Just picked something else I thought I'd enjoy. Let's go to the numbers. 105 club speed, just still a little less than what I want. But 157 ball speed. Now, that ratio of club head speed to ball speed, that's really good because normally, in order to get 160, I need to be hitting around 110. And here we are on the verge of 160. Really close, and yet I'm still 5 miles per hour slower on that club head speed. So that would indicate to me that this thing is hot. Hot. Carry on this was 257, and the total was 288. So the carry is a little bit of an improvement, but the total distance is a significant improvement. Spin rate of 2100 RPM. Let's go ahead and keep hitting some more. Let's see if we keep getting more and more comfortable with this Cobra driver and if these numbers keep improving. Right now I'm pretty pleased, really pleased actually. Wow, forgiveness much? Yeah. Okay, I put a swing on that wasn't very good. It was a little on the heel side, quite a bit on the heel side actually. Everything about that should have been a huge big cutter. But Cobra bailed me out because that thing held on. Yeah, it's within just a few yards of center. And again, that spin rate was way up, 3,500 spin, which is way too high. That carry, though, was 252 with a total of 265 total. Now, that's not good. That's not a number I'm excited about. But for a heel side miss that held on to pretty much to the center line of the fairway and still carried okay, hello, Cobra, forgive much, forgive much. I did not expect this to be really that forgiving. That's great. That was just barely off the sweet spot. Just barely. Don't you freaking dare. It didn't record it. You've got to be kidding me. You stinker. Come on. TrackMan. I will say it's overcast. It's been snowing some. Might have trouble picking up the ball every time. That swing was a little wild as we wait for those numbers to get up. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for improvement. Part of that improvement, before any of you guys comment in the comment section about my swing or lessons, I already take lessons and the swing is getting better. My driver swing is the worst swing I got, if that wasn't painfully obvious. So you can just leave your comments to yourself on my swing. Unless you care to compliment me, then you can go ahead and say whatever you want. But yeah, so aside from improvement, I think that even with the same swing to swing, if the swings are identical, that by getting a new club, a new driver, a driver that is appropriately custom fitted for me, it should give me better numbers than what I'm currently seeing, particularly in carry and overall distance. Now, just so you know, on that last one, ball speed, again, club speed was only 105, ball speed 156, carry of 258, total of 280. Spin was kind of getting high a little bit, 2,700 RPM. That's a little bit on the swing. Well, this thing wants to go up in the air. You know what's funny about that is I do have this cranked up half a degree higher than my TaylorMade, but I was watching the boys at TXG and Matt, who's got, shout out to you, Matt, not that you're going to see this video, but if you do, you've got one heck of a swing, brother. Side note, Ian commented on one of my videos recently, and I have a little man crush there, so that felt cool. But anyways, Matt, who's got an incredible swing, he was having trouble, and I forget what degree loft he was playing, but with the Rad Speed, he was having a little trouble getting it really up in the air. Right now, I'm having no trouble. That had an apex of 110 feet. Great ball flights on these. I will say, the dispersion with this Cobra is better than I expected. And even the forgiveness is a bit better than. Now we're getting somewhere, though. 158. Yeah, we're seeing this again. So that was 105 club head speed again, 158 ball speed. That ratio, again, I said this already, that ratio of club head speed to ball speed, that means this face is hot. I think this driver's hot. Without me even swinging nearly as good or efficient. Not nearly as efficient. Launch angle 11 degrees. But that carry, 259 carry. And that total is 292. I want to hit 300 with this guy. I did with the Ping G425. Of course, it wasn't snowing. Yeah, this cut's a little bit more than I'm used to, but not much. It's a fairway finder all the way. So, interesting thing, Cobra's got this infinity face on it, and which means it kind of wraps around all the edges. And to be honest, folks, because I don't know, my hand touches my driver, I imagine when you play yours does too. It feels like it's going to slice the heck out of you. And I just can't help but wonder what it does to the inside of my driver cover. So while it's there for a reason, and I know this sounds silly, but I care about these things. It does not feel good to my hand to touch the top of the driver here, particularly on the bottom. It feels like a really sharp edge. Yeah, interesting little observation. It's a little thing that you wouldn't think about, but something to consider. Oh, yeah. Felt good. I think I'm getting a little sloppy. Backswing, but it felt good. .260 carry, 293 overall. That's good. I can live with that. 293. By the way, 159 ball speed. So with only 106 club head speed, again, normally it takes me 110. With my M5, it takes me 110 to generally get 160 ball speed. Here, 159, and that was only 106 club head speed. And I'm almost touching 300 with a 106 club speed. That's really good. I know. You don't have to say it about my swing. That said, I think that's going to be pretty good. I think that's going to be pretty good. Yeah. Look at that. 159 ball speed again, but only 106 club head speed. I'm going to sound like a broken record. 261 carry, 285 total. All right. We are getting better. Wow, I didn't swing very hard on that, and that jumped off the club. Just jumped. That was not a very hard swing. That was a way more controlled swing. Yeah, 265 carry, 281 total. Wow, okay. The Cobra's starting to impress me as I get a little used to it here. Boy, that was a crappy swing, but again, that's just the one swing. It's so funny that my iron play has just gotten so much better. Shot my first round of even par 72 the other day. I'm going to be almost borderline embarrassed to post this video because I can feel what I'm doing with my swing. I just am not going to try and right now during a review correct it. 153 ball speed, so that was a lot less ball speed, but that carry spin rate got back down to the mid 2000s, which I knew, guys. Just some on those Healy misses with the Cobra, spin rate really jumps up. Wouldn't say it's the most forgiving on the heel side, definitely forgiving on toe side. 260 carry, 282 overall. Starting to find some consistency here. Oh, might be one of my better strikes. Wow. Let's go. We did it. I just said that was one of my better strikes. Do I end on it? Heck no. Finally got 161 ball speed. Interesting thing about that, my club head speed was only 103. I think that was just a better swing. I mean, I think I said it the moment I finished the swing. I said that's better. But listen to these numbers. 279 carry, 304 total. 304. That's what I like to see. Okay, let's just keep doing it. That might be good. Yep. 260 carry. 260 carry. 294 total, 1700 spin, 157 ball speed, only a 73-foot apex. So that was a lower trajectory than what I've been producing on this. That was a little high on the club face, just a little high on that club face. Not bad. 265 carry, 291 total. I'm having fun. I see where we're averaging, and I think I'm ready to summarize it, but I'm having too much fun. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. That might have been pretty good, actually. Let's go. 299 total. 160 ball speed, 108 club head speed. Yeah, all right. Yeah, 271 carry. All right, here we go, a couple more. Oh, that could be it. It could be good. It is good. Yeah, in every way. Well, I'll start with carry in total. Carry was 274, total 294. Spin rate 2,800 RPM, so that is just an insane amount of distance. I know with based on how it feels and the ball flight, I also know by looking at that difference between the disparity between carry and total, that whether that spin rate is where it should be or not. So, yeah, we'll talk in a minute about me getting custom made for this to change any of these characteristics. That said, club head speed 105, ball speed 162. Folks, there's no other way to say it. This sucker is hot. And I mean hot. Let's do one more. Here we go. Oh, that launch. I tell you right now, that launch degree is going to be like 15 degrees, 16 degrees. That carry is going to be less. That spin's going to be high. I'll just predict it all right now. And without looking at the screen, let's just assume that carry was probably 255. And since I had that ridiculous launch angle, I'm guessing, I'm going to guess that was a 270 total. Let's go to the numbers. Wow. Well, I was close. Launch angle was 16 degrees. Is that what I said? 15 or 16 degrees? Spin rate, 3,100 RPM. Yep. I just barely missed. 251 on the carry and only 269 total. Didn't I say 255 and 270? I'm telling you, this club tells you. It tells you what it did, or what you did, rather. It tells you. That's so interesting. I've never had a conversation with my driver before. This might be a first. Unbelievable. Oh, be good. Be the one. Now that was a tiny bit toe side. Tiny bit off, so I haven't caught the sweet spot a whole bunch of times, and when we did, the numbers were crazy good. Oh! Okay. I can live with that. 260 carry, 294 overall. Yeah. Let's go ahead and summarize this bad boy. All right, back here in my home office, ready to do my summary of the Cobra RAD Speed driver. Well, let's start with looks. I always start with looks. I think that is a really, really good looking driver, especially when you're looking at it from the top and at address. It's got that matte black finish on the crown, and I love that finish. That really suits my eye. The G425 from Ping, that has that matte black finish. TaylorMade has a very subdued or matted carbon finish at the top of the head. That's the style that suits my eye. The really polished and shiny drivers, I don't really like that as much. So when I'm looking down at that Cobra RAD Speed driver and it's got that matte black finish, I absolutely love it. Now, when you turn that over and look at the bottom has really grown on me. I thought between TaylorMade and Cobra and Callaway, I thought that a few of the manufacturers were getting a little crazy on their color scheme, particularly on the bottom of their drivers. But the RAD Speed one, that has just grown on me. I think it's really, really cool. I think it's great looking. It's sharp. Yeah, it's got some bright kind of neon type colors. But I think it's great. The way they've designed the weights, everything about the bottom of that driver looks good, and it's really grown on me, so I really like it. Now, back to when you're looking at it from the top and at address, it certainly is kind of a longer head, if you will. And that also, I've been hitting a TaylorMade M5, and so I'm used to kind of more of a squattier look. a more condensed driver when you're standing down looking over the ball. So that length of that driver head takes a little bit of getting used to, but once I did, it didn't bother me at all. In fact, I grew to kind of like it. So yeah, that was really great. I really like the looks of the Rad Speed driver. I think it's a really sharp looking driver. That infinity face. Now, one thing I will say, that an infinity face, so it kind of wraps around the top. It really wraps around all sides of the driver, both on the bottom and around the top there. The one thing I will say, and this sounds like a nitpicky or inconsequential little thing, but the edges where that infinity face meets, particularly on the top, and even on the bottom, around the bottom of the driver where it wraps around, it feels like a sharp edge to me. And if you're like me, you kind of stand there oftentimes when the other guys are playing, and I've always got my hand on top of the driver. I'm usually holding it with one hand and kind of have my hand on the other. That's kind of my resting pose when I'm not swinging the club. And that sharp edge, it felt like it was going to cut my fingers. Now, of course, it didn't, but it felt like a sharp edge, and I didn't like that. And I could see where if I decide to put that Cobra Rad Speed driver in my bag, I could see where day after day that would start to kind of irritate me or get in my head, or God forbid it actually does cut me. You know, I doubt it will, but I just didn't like that. Kind of inconsequential, but sometimes it's those little things that bother you about a driver, and then it affects your whole mental approach and confidence in that driver. But that's a little thing, and I think it could be overlooked. But I think it's worth sharing and worth noting because it definitely jumped out at me. And so if it jumped out at me, I feel like it's going to jump out to other players when they're playing or gaming that club, if they're gaming that club. So that's kind of all on the appearance. Now, on the performance, wow, I thought it was really good. Now, I had that hazardous smoke shaft in it. I don't think that's the right shaft for me. I think if I were to really strongly consider putting the Cobra Rad Speed driver in my bag, I think obviously I would need to be fully custom fitted and really dial that driver in. But just with the settings as it was. So for today's testing, as I was swinging that driver, it was a 9-degree head, and I cranked that up to 10 degrees. So I went up to 10 degrees, and that's how I hit it. Now, in that position and in that setting, I hit it pretty darn well, and I saw a fairly decent jump in overall distance and in carry. In fact, out of the new drivers that I tested, the Rad Speed gave me my longest drive thus far of 2021. It was about 310 yards, so I feel really good. I cracked 300 a couple times, was in the 290s a couple of times, and folks, I think it's worth noting, not as an excuse, but as situational awareness. It was very, very cold today. It was about 34 degrees Celsius. No, let me rephrase that. 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And I forget what that is for you international folks in Celsius, but it was right at about freezing level, and it was snowing outside. The club, when I brought it in and I was talking to the fitter and he felt it, and he goes, man, this club is ice cold. And furthermore, the balls were very, very cold. And so I kind of am curious if I were to try and test that driver out on a much nicer day, not even, anything real sunny and warm, but just a little bit nicer of a day. I wonder if that distance, both carry and overall distance, would improve even a little bit more. But in the conditions that I hit it today, it performed very, very well, and it certainly is an upgrade from my TaylorMade M5. Now, am I going to put this driver in the bag? That remains to be seen. I've got more testing to do. I haven't tested the new line of the Callaway Epic line. I haven't tested the Srixon ZX7. I haven't tested the new Mizuno driver. And I'm trying to think, there might, the Titleist TSI3. I haven't tested that out. So I'm going to do the tests of all the drivers. Right now, if I had to speculate, because I have hit the Titleist TSI3, I just haven't done it with a launch monitor or anything else. If I had to speculate, I bet that I would start narrowing my 3 drivers down to the Ping G425 Max, the TaylorMade Sim 2, maybe even the Sim 2 Max, and then the Cobra Rad Speed. Those would kind of, I bet those are going to end up being the top 3. that I test out some more, do some head-to-head comparisons, and really try and dial in all of the settings and shaft, just everything that's going to go in, you know, even weight position if I want to play with that. But right now, I can tell you just on my initial test, I think the Cobra RAD Speed is an awesome stinking driver. Certainly in the top 3 drivers of all the new drivers for 2021. I absolutely loved it, and I think that there's a lot of you that are going to love it too. It was relatively forgiving. I had no problem getting the ball up in the air, which is really interesting to me because one of my favorite club reviewers out there are the boys at TXG, Ian and Matt. And Matt, when he hit the Cobra RAD Speed, he discussed how in its current position and the way, you know, I don't remember what his settings were when he was initially testing it, that he was having a little trouble with launch and getting it up as high in the air as he'd probably like. That did not seem to be a problem for me today. Launch angle was good, and getting my apex was always really good. So I didn't have any problem getting that up in the air, which is what's funny about golf equipment. It's just so unique to the user. It's so unique to the golfer. And so while I have a fraction of the game that Matt does, we're not even in the same zip code at all. We're not even nothing about our games is comparable. I hope one day I can swing the club as good as Matt can, but for me, launch and getting that ball up in the air, I had absolutely no problem with it. Folks, I don't know what else to say. You know, one other thing I will point out is the Cobra RAD Speed driver is a little bit cheaper than some of the other big name drivers from Ping, from TaylorMade, certainly Titleist, which probably is one of the most expensive, more cheaper than PXG. It is not super cheap. It's not as cheap as, say, the Mizuno, but it's quite a bit more affordable, easily by $150, maybe depending on where you're looking for it, maybe even approaching $200, but anywhere from $100 to $200 cheaper. And I think that at some point when we're talking about golf equipment, that has to enter into the equation. That has to enter into the conversation. Can I get almost as good a performance as one of those big heavy names out there, or can I even get the same performance as one of the big names out there and spend a little bit less? Why wouldn't you do that? So I'm going to revisit the RAD Speed. There will be another video coming where I try and dial in the properties and the settings of the RAD Speed driver, and where I certainly am going to do a head-to-head with the Sim 2, the Ping G425 Max, and maybe some others, but certainly those two. And I can't wait to do that for you guys. Folks, I hope you like this review. I really wasn't, in all honesty, we got to call it out, and I'll always call myself out. I really wasn't swinging the driver that well today. I really wasn't. And despite the fact that I really wasn't at my best today, the driver performed really well. It was a marked improvement over what I currently have in the bag, and is a serious candidate to go in my bag. And I just hope that summary helps, guys. I absolutely loved the driver, and I can't wait to get back out and work on it some more. You know, again, I take a much less formal approach to club review, right? There is some amazing club reviewers out there, guys, and I take a less formal approach. And not only do I take a less formal approach to the review, but remember this too, I'm a very average golfer at an 8 handicap. I'm really not that good. In fact, my driver swing is the worst fundamentals I have right now in my entire golf game. And so, but I still think it's worthwhile to get the take or opinion of a golfer like me. I'm not saying necessarily me, but like me, because unlike some of the incredible club reviewers out there, I think I can give you the perspective of just an average guy with an average swing with a lot of mechanics and fundamental mistakes, and say, okay, well, if I have some of those same mistakes, or if I have a similar swing or whatever, if I play the game similar to this guy, maybe I might get similar results. So I just hope that this helps you. I hope it brings value into your search and your quest as you end up building out your bag and are on the hunt for new clubs yourself. And if it did, I ask you that you give a like to this, smash that like button, and definitely click subscribe. I would love for you to subscribe. The more subscribers I get, the more enthusiastic I get to continue to bring more and more reviews and tips and drills and show you all the things in games and matches. just all the different things that I'm working on and all the different things that we're bringing to this channel. More subscribers would always be great and certainly welcome. And so I humbly ask you to go ahead and click subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Feel free to leave a comment down below, maybe perhaps a positive comment. I know what my swing is, guys. Don't even need to hear about it. Unless, of course, you want to comment how good my swing looks. Okay. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment. If you've recently purchased a Cobra RAD Speed driver, if you've been considering it, comment on that. If you have any questions about how it stacks up to the other drivers that I've been hitting, feel free to put that a question. I try and do my best to get to all the questions that are left in the comment section of my videos. So yeah, feel free to do that. In the meantime, I'm a big fan of the Rad Speed. Definitely 2 thumbs up. It's going to require just a little bit more testing and evaluation, but I am definitely a big fan, and it is a serious contender to go in my bag. Until we do the next video, folks, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support and everything else that you guys bring to the table, and I'm excited to continue to bring you more content. And so until I do the next video and release that to you, I'm Matt Williams. Look forward to seeing you guys later.